It's become part of the city's culture, identity, history. But this sport goes beyond the fortress. The Scarlet and Gray.
The UNLV men's hockey team has dominated.
Our boys in silver.
It's a great opportunity, it's a great challenge, it's the right time. It feels right.
The Monsters in the north.
The Golden Knights are beefing up their minor leagues with the Night Monsters.
Night Monsters all the way.
We are super excited.
And the next generation.
Covering the stars of tomorrow.
They live at the rink. They love the game.
Vegas wanted hockey, Vegas got hockey.
Covering every local team on the ice. This is Hockey in the Desert Weekly.
Well, welcome inside another edition of Hockey in the Desert Weekly. I'm your host, Vince Sapienza. History repeats itself for Team Canada in an overtime gold medal match against the United States. We'll go back to Boston for a deep dive of the Four Nations face-off finale. But first, let's fire home a snapshot of what is in store over the next 30 minutes. First, we'll check in with the Knights as they restart their regular season. We'll show you the special guests they invited out to help with VGK practice. We'll introduce you to the latest junior Golden Knights set to represent the city and state at Nationals, plus the Skatin Rebels wrapping up their regular season schedule. They join us in studio as always. But first, the Four Nations face-off might go down as one of the most important international tournaments the sport has ever seen. Fans got best-on-best hockey for the first time in nearly a decade, and it was highlighted by two incredible performances between the United States and Canada. In round one, it was the red, white, and blue sending a message in Montreal that it was their time. But the rematch, the northern neighbors reaffirming it was their game.
Centering pass, McDavid scores! Connor McDavid wins it for Canada!
It was deja vu for USA Hockey.
Punched along to Jerome again, left. Crosby scores! It's over! The gold medal to Canada!
At the 2010 Winter Olympics, it was Sidney Crosby scoring the overtime winner to help Canada top the United States 3-2. 15 years later, 87 still on the ice, but it was 97 taking the baton and continuing the Canadian tradition of golden goals and medals.
It's Connor McDavid, his step-out moment, like maybe Sidney Crosby's was in 2010. McDavid puts this away.
Just to know what it means to us, I know it's just a quick tournament, and it's not an Olympic gold medal or anything like that, but it means the world to our group. As you can see, everybody battled so hard all week, so it was special.
Just special. I mean, every opportunity you get to wear the Canadian jersey and compete in this event, something new, but I think you saw the hockey that was on display. It was pretty incredible, and happy for this group. We came together in a short period of time and found a way to get it done.
And Jordan Bennington has done it again inside the TD Garden.
McDavid might have earned Player of the Game honors, but it was Jordan Bennington who proved to be the biggest difference in this one. 31 saves in total for the St. Louis Blues netminder, who was questioned and criticized all tournament long.
When it came to overtime and we needed him most, make the saves you're supposed to, and then make a few that you're not. And he saved his best for last. And there wasn't a chance I was not going to back the winner.
By just about every metric, the Four Nations face-off delivered and then some, setting the stage for the 2026 Winter Olympics in Italy. And for the quartet of Golden Knights who brought home the gold, they're already lobbying for next February.
I would do anything to be there. That's the biggest reason why you're here, right, is to be considered for that. So I think it'd be a privilege and an honor, something that we were going to do. The last Olympics didn't happen, so I'd love to be a part of that.
This was one of the best experiences of my life, getting to play with all these guys. The Olympics would probably be another level, but I'm going to celebrate this one.
As for the United States, the disappointment of second place will last for a while, though the silver lining is the newfound excitement created for USA Hockey now and in the future.
I think this tournament and this game has had a huge impact on the growth of hockey. I think these guys inspired the next generation, and the way they play the game, their commitment, the passion, all the elements of sports were on display. For me, I couldn't be more proud of the team and the group. As good as talented as they are, they carry themselves with humility. And for me, I think that's there's a lot to be said for that. That speaks volumes of the character of the people. But I think that's hockey. You know, I think, you know, my experience of being around NHL players is that there's a humility to them that for me is impressive. And in this group of American players, I think they instill a certain amount of American pride. They had a lot of people rooting for them across the United States tonight, and for good reason. They deserved it. They earned that through their play, how they carry themselves off the ice. They're incredible role models for that next generation. And for me, that might be the highest compliment, that you can inspire the next generation the way they did. These guys are terrific players and they're great people.
So from bitter rivals back to teammates, the VGK, with both gold and silver in hand, made their way back to Vegas, looking to reset and refocus in the final stretch of the regular season. And they were back at the Fortress Saturday night. Canucks and Golden Knights, a Pacific Division rivalry. Where's the roadies? Breaking the ice first. Noah Hannafin losing side of Jake DeBrusk. He puts this one past Aiden Hill to give Vancouver a 1-0 lead. But here comes Vegas, and it's Barbie throwing a party near the paint. Kaden Korzak's shot saved, but Ivan Barbashev is there crashing the crease to tie the game at 1, picks up his 16th of the season, snaps a 16-game goalless drought, and in the process scores the 1,000th goal scored in franchise history inside T-Mobile Arena. Final frame, Vegas find their first lead of the game thanks to the new guy, Brandon Saad, in his home debut, lighting the lamp for the first time as a member of the VGK, 18 seconds into the third. Later, Hill putting up the force field, falling back, somehow keeping this one and the rest of them out of the net. 33 saves in total as Vegas cruise to a 3-1 win.
Yeah, no, I felt fine. Yeah, I feel like got to play the puck quite a bit early, which is always nice. Get a little feel for the game. But yeah, I thought like our guys, we started off the game great. That first period, we controlled the flow of the play, and yeah, big win. Going to the Four Nations and being with that group of guys, that coaching staff, the Hockey Canada culture, it was special. So it's something I'll remember forever, and getting to skate with those guys every day in practice was a treat. So it was fun being on the ice with some of the best talent in the world. So yeah, no, I think it was great for me, and yeah, it was a great time.
Just 6 months ago, the hockey world was shocked and saddened at the tragic passing of both Johnny and Matthew Gaudreau. Since then, the hockey community, in a variety of ways, have done what they can to help find peace and healing for the family. This past week, the Golden Knights did their part, hosting Johnny and Matthew's parents in Vegas. It was a special moment inside the Fortress Saturday night as the Golden Knights honored Guy and Jane Gaudreau. Now, while their boys never played for Vegas, the connections within the organization to the family remain strong.
I went to Philadelphia, back to the Flyers organization in '96, played for the Phantoms, and our practice rink was Hollydale in Sewell, New Jersey, and Guy Gaudreau was the hockey director at that hockey rink. So we practiced and played out of there for 4 years I was there. My kids grew up playing in that hockey program. Guy coached my kids for 12 years in that program, and my boys, John and Owen, grew up with Maddie and John pretty much their whole life since they're 2-3 years old. So we've got a relationship that goes back almost 30 years, and that is my home in the off season. So, you know, the hockey community is a tight one, so we've been very close to their family.
During the Four Nations face-off, Team USA paid tribute to Johnny Gaudreau, awarding his jersey to the player of the game and making sure his sweater was visible in the locker room. Guy was also invited to be with the team, assisting with practice. After a few days in Montreal, Guy made his way to Vegas to help the Golden Knights get back up to speed.
He loves being around the rink. That's his favorite thing to do. He knows a lot of these guys. I know he was with USA and had a chance to talk to Hanny, who he knew well from his days in Calgary. He was catching up with Derek Eglin today, who he knew from Calgary. So I think it's just nice to see him being around the rink. It's probably the environment he's most comfortable in, and he's been a good friend for a long time, so it's just good to have him in town for a few days.
Yeah, I missed most of it, but great to have him here today and through the weekend. Obviously, their family went through a lot, so if this can help him heal a little bit, be here on the ice doing what he loves best, I think it's a great for Johnny to do that. He approached, you know, Krim and I about this a while ago. We thought it was a great idea. I'm sure the players enjoy it too. He's worked with some of them a little more than others, but happy to have him here and play a small part in helping him get back to being a coach, because I think that's what he loves more than anything, being on the ice coaching, and and just had an opportunity to do that here.
Despite all the ice, we're just getting warmed up here on Hockey in the Desert Weekly. When we return, the Vegas Junior Golden Knights will be representing the Valley at the national level. We'll hear from the team's head coach about the opportunity that lay ahead. And as we head to break, here's a look at the next three opponents for the guys in gold. Vegas opening up a 5-game homestand starting with the Blackhawks on Thursday. The Devils coming to town on Sunday, followed by the Maple Leafs.
You're watching Hockey in the Desert Weekly.
Welcome back inside Hockey in the Desert Weekly. I'm Vince Sapienza. The Henderson Silver Knights have been one of the hottest teams in the American Hockey League to date, but they dug themselves such a huge hole early in the season that despite all their recent success, they still find themselves at the bottom of the division. Let's see how this past week shook out. Go to the Stronghold Lee's Family Forum, where Raphael Lavoie continued to stay hot, extending his goal streak to 4 games to that point and his point streak to 6. He made it 1-0. Henderson jumped out to a 3-0 lead. However, the collapse would happen in the third. The Condors rally all the way back to tie the game at 3, but we fast forward with under 3 to play, and it's the rookie coming through, Braden Bowman, netting the game winner, a 2-point outing for him, as well as the captain, Jake Bischoff, in a 4-3 regulation win.
I mean, it's a team we're trying to chase and catch, right? So it's a 4-point game for us, and being able to get that one at the end in regulation, obviously huge for us too.
Yeah, we would have liked that third period to go a little bit differently, but I'm happy and proud of the guys for sticking with it, and it's a great pass by Laz. I just kind of had to tap it in there. It was an unreal play. I think just we're playing better overall, and we want to make this place a tough place to come in. We don't want anyone to have easy nights here, so I think we've done a good job, like you said, since December. That was our goal from Christmas break, just keep pushing till the All-Star break, then end of the year, and it's been well so far.
Now, just a couple days later, the Silver Knights hit the road for Milwaukee, and they absolutely took it to the team. The top team in the Central Divisional, sweeping the Admirals, outscoring them 10-4 over the weekend. The Silver Knights have now won 8 of 9 this month, including 3 straight.
Team win all the way through. We had some D-men coming to the lineup. Chase Pauls joined us again for a second game. Jordan Sandberg came in from Florida. Those guys had to contribute. From Carl out, it was just a team victory. We stuck together, able to find a way.
Now the Night Monsters, they found themselves in a 4-game losing streak earlier in the week, but were able to snap out of that skid and salvage a win in their 3-game series with the top team in the ECHL. The Florida Everblades taking games 1-2 by a combined score of 8-3, but bounced back did Tahoe in Game 3, a dominant 6-2 victory. Next up for the Night Monsters, it's back to Tahoe for a 3-game series with the Allen Americans. And don't forget, if you can't make it up north, you can watch the Night Monsters on the Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network. Your next chance will be the Rapid City Series starting on Thursday, March 6th. And the Las Vegas Storm are heading home a little earlier than they were hoping for after falling to the San Diego Oilers in their second game 3-2. They open up the 65th annual Quebec International Pee Wee Hockey Tournament with a 3-2 win over the hometown squad. And as we mentioned earlier this month, the 14U AA Junior Golden Knights punched their ticket to the national tournament in April. They made it official. After shutting out the Las Vegas Storm 5-0 this past week, I caught up with their head coach, Wally Lacroix, to talk about their latest achievement.
Pretty excited for the young men. Had a good season so far. We've worked hard. We've tried to climb this ladder. This is a group of young men that I believe in. They believe in themselves right now, and the goal is to go represent Nevada best we can and maybe bring home some silverware, never know. But definitely the young men are focused right now. The families, I appreciate everything they do. It's not a cheap sport, people know that, especially traveling. Nationals this year in Kalamazoo, Michigan, we're gonna be there for 6 days. It's a big investment family-wise for everybody. But the brotherhood, the family, in the locker room right now, the young men are really excited and looking forward to this, working hard. They understand the magnitude of it. For these young athletes, this is their first opportunity because of their birth year to actually get to nationals. And throughout their journey here for the next 4 years, they're going to have more opportunities. But this is the first actual time where they get an opportunity to go to nationals and represent Nevada. So they're pretty excited about all that, and they do understand the work it's going to take to go up there and compete and be the best we can be.
Still ahead here on Hockey in the Desert Weekly, it is time to turn our attention to the Scarlet and Gray. Sophomore forward Justin Stathopoulos joining us in studio to talk about the final few weeks of the season. Welcome back inside Hockey in the Desert Weekly. I'm Vince Sapienza. We've talked gold, silver, even that Tahoe teal. Time for a little Scarlet and Gray, and to do that, we to bring in sophomore forward Justin Stathopoulos. How are we doing?
Doing
Thanks
great.
so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right, so we are at the tail end of the regular season. Now, you guys just wrapped up your regular season, splitting at Grand Canyon. What is the feeling right now, getting the split this weekend as we look ahead and getting ready for nationals?
Yeah, I think we're just trying to get all the kinks out of our game, try to focus on the little things and kind of build towards, that ASU weekend that'll prepare us for nationals. So just kind of getting those kinks out and trying to improve on the little things.
We're going to talk about that ASU weekend, the senior night, first responders night, everything that gets involved with it. But I'm curious, what is the mood of the room right now? Because obviously, nobody has minced words when talking about the goal of this year. It's not just to get back to the national championship, it's to win it and get a ring. Been very vocal about it, the whole group has. What is the conversation right now? What is the mindset?
I think we just got to get dialed in. I think we need to use these next couple of weeks to kind of build towards, where we can be. And I think at times this year we've shown great, we've played it really well, and other times we haven't. So I think kind of just building that championship mindset and, getting to that level.
So you come off a weekend a couple weeks ago where you beat San Diego State, score over 20 goals on the weekend. You come back, you lose in overtime on the road 4-3, but then you bounce back with a 2-1 victory. Yeah. That sense of resilience, how important is that? I know you don't want to lose games this late in the season, but is it almost kind of helpful at this part of the year?
Yeah, for sure. I think it's a blessing in disguise. I think, that outcome shows us that we will face adversity, and we're going to need to find a way to, overcome that. So I think that loss really tells us that we still have some work to do, and that's where those kinks we gotta figure out before we get to nationals.
Okay, so here we stand right now. You guys have been ranked number 2 in the ACHA for the last few weeks now. Top 4 teams get a bye in the national tournament. It looks like you guys are set getting that bye. So another box checked in terms of that aspect. Yep. How exciting is that? And is it reassuring knowing, okay, got that extra rest, now how do we utilize it?
Yeah, I think it's great. I think last year we were able, to do what we did, 4 games in 4 days. So I think having that extra day off really gives us an advantage to, kind of get our bodies right, especially for those first couple of games. I think it's definitely going to be a lot harder than it was last year, just based on, the upsets that happened last year. So I think, that day off is going to really give us an advantage.
All right, so you guys have a bye this weekend, and then you close out your quote-unquote regular season with Arizona State at home, City National Arena, first responders night on Friday, and then it's senior night on Saturday, where you guys will be presented your first piece of hardware with a conference trophy. How do we approach these final 2 weeks of the season before nationals?
Yeah, I think it's just, building those little habits, finding ways to, if we get down, finding ways to come together as a team, staying positive on the bench, and finding ways to come back. I think these games will be crucial. I think in years past we've had breaks going into nationals. I think these games are really going to, put us in the right spot to where we go into nationals. We'll be ready to play. We'll be familiar with maybe our opponents, and we'll be ready to go.
Yeah, it's fascinating because a lot of coaches might sit there and say, hey, let's get some rest. Let's recover before this national tournament. But you guys are like, no, let's go, let's compete, and let's get ourselves ready to raise that bar.
Exactly, yeah. I think, if we could put ourselves in those situations where we're going to see in nationals, I think if we could figure those out in our last couple of games, it'll really help us in nationals.
What is this like for you? What is this personally, one of the younger guys on the roster, a team laden with veteran guys, guys who've been there, done that, played some big-time hockey. What's this like for you?
I think it's awesome. I think, in the 2 years I've been here, there's been so much that has happened. I think from last year going to the finals to, this year completing 2 out of our 3 goals with, beating Denver, winning our conference, and then ultimately working towards that final goal. It's been a lot of fun. I mean, there's been a lot of highs and lows, definitely a lot of highs, but, I think we've got to come together and take advantage of, the opportunities we've had and use that to motivate us.
Has the shift already happened to where you guys go from, okay, fun games, having a good time, to where it's all business now?
I think that San Diego weekend kind of showed us that, we need to focus on, you know, our harder opponents and stuff. But I think this switch is going to come this week because we need to start getting into that mindset where we're going to have to play some tough games and we're going to face some adversity. So we need to figure out how to do that for a national championship.
Justin Stathopoulos, appreciate you. Thank you so much for joining us. Sophomore forward for the Skatin Rebels, repping the Scarlet and Gray. We will chat with you down the road. We are not done here on Hockey in the Desert Weekly. When we return, it is time to clear the ice. Keep it here. Welcome back inside Hockey in the Desert Weekly. I'm Vince Sapienza. Time to continue some quests with the Knights of yesteryear. And we start with another start for the Flower. Rewriting the record books yet again, Marc-Andre Fleury moving his sole possession of second place, playing in his 1,045th career NHL game. The Wild won in overtime 4-3, and in the process, Fleury recorded his 69th OT victory, tying Martin Brodeur for the most in league history. And over in Nashville, Jonathan Marchessault starting to heat up for the Preds, scoring the game-winning goal against the Avalanche, his 18th of the season, and to that point, his third in the last 4 games. 7th point in that span. The original Misfit named the second star of the game. And as we wrap up our time here on Hockey in the Desert Weekly, it is time once again to clear the ice. Happy birthday. Great job, everybody. That is definitely not me crying, that is you crying. During the Columbus Blue Jackets game on Saturday, the crowd was informed that Johnny Gaudreau's son, Johnny Gaudreau Jr., turned 1 year old, and the Columbus crowd responded with incredible, heartfelt singing of happy birthday to the little guy. A powerful moment, and one we should all not soon forget. Thank you so much for joining us here on Hockey in the Desert Weekly. We'll do it again next week. I'm Vince Sapienza. Until then, we'll see you then.